friends and fellow American cricket fanatics, thanks so much for joining us. My friends Nate, Aaman, and I are going to count down for you the top 20 performances of the year. So let's dive right in.
We'll move into number 20, and I have a massive thank you to give to Mohammad Mohsin, who sits in 20 against the San Francisco Unicorns, because this was my first time ever in the box in Major League Cricket, and he comes in during my 5-over stint and makes it so easy, because he just takes wickets galore. He took 4 wickets for 13 runs, including the captain, Corey Anderson, a couple LBWs, got the googly going, and I mean, he's just a force, and he's now done it all over the world, and he did it at Churchill Park. It was great to see up close and in person.
Well, they had to take you out of the rotation after that, or the game would have been over at the rate that you were inducing these wickets.
that was a great debut, Aaman. We should put that on this list too.
Yeah, that's number one for me.
Yeah, exactly. So we're into the top 20. Number 19, speaking of Corey Anderson, who was captaining the San Francisco Unicorns this year against MI New York on July 19th. It was a great knock from Corey. It was 59 not out off 37. And, you know, he was a great captain for San Francisco this year. He took them into the final, and this was perhaps his best individual knock of the season. But again, his impact was felt as a captain. You talk to the other players, they all thought he did a great job. So we're very happy for Corey.
Yeah, and for Corey, he might just have a love affair with MI New York leggies, because he took our main man from the Royals that is slipping my name right now, Sarabjit Ludde. He took him for sixes all over the park. And then in this game, he took Rashid Khan for sixes. He took Sonny Patel, who made his major league debut, for sixes. It was just quite unbelievable what he does against these MI New York leggies.
He's such a great player. He's such a good captain too. We saw he did such a great job captaining in the GSL for Victoria, taking them all the way to the final. We can't say enough about him. Plus that incredible grab that he took in Major League this year, one of the best that you'll ever see anywhere. And that moves us down to number 18. Once again, Saurabh. We get to talk about Saurabh again. So this is a great day. Saurabh Netravalkar for the Washington Freedom versus the Los Angeles Knight Riders. Now, it feels like you can put every single innings that Saurabh plays in Major League on this list. But he took 4 wickets on this day for 35 runs. He bowled Sunil Narain for a duck. He's an incredible bowler for USA. He's been Mr. Consistency over the years. And over the last 3-4 seasons, he's learned how to. I mean, he's become a big wicket taker. He always very economical, but his bowling has improved so much in terms of taking wickets, especially against lefties lately. But yeah, here he is for Washington Freedom, blowing the doors off of Los Angeles Knight Riders.
Not the first time he's going to do it, probably not the last as well. We'll move to 17, where Joshua Trump, the young man, makes his way onto the list for the first time against the San Francisco Unicorns. He was drafted by the Texas Super Kings, and he was put down to number 6 and 7. He was batting alongside the Calvin Savages of the world down the order, a new role for him, and he didn't miss a beat. 56 unbeaten off 36 in the eliminator, and he gave Texas a chance to overthrow San Francisco. San Francisco dominated that game, and we're going to walk into the next stages. And he just kept Texas in the hunt. And this is a young man, and I think Texas has a great opportunity to have a very young core. You have him, you have Saiteja Mukamala. That batting lineup could be good for the next 10 years domestically.
Yeah, 100%. And, his brother's pretty darn good too. But we have such a good young. I mean, I think this list really highlights how good of a young core we have many years down the road. We got some great young guns, don't we?
Absolutely. I say this again and again. I'm so excited about the future of cricket in the U.S. because we are very stacked. Speaking of stacked, now at number 16, right, we have once again our boy Andries Gous. Recently, December 6th, in the Nepal Premier League, right, he hit the first century in the history of the NPL, right, for the Pokhara Avengers. He had 104 undefeated, which we see a lot with our boy Andries, right? He's undefeated a lot of time. He opens, shows up, he stays till the end, undefeated, 104 off 55. And this was such an incredibly celebrated century. It was so awesome to see everyone in Nepal, everyone in the U.S., so excited for him. Andries, one of his many amazing performances this year.
And this is a league where 130 gets you a winning score. And he scored 104, not out, off 55 balls. It's an incredible performance in the context of that league. We've got Andrew Leonard down there on commentary, or over there on commentary, who's celebrating these players so well and the league so well, and the league looks so popular, and it's great to see our guys go over there and do this well in a place where it's difficult to score runs. Another guy to do a similar job over in Nepal is another wicketkeeper batsman in Lahiru Malantha. Now, Aaman and I have got the pleasure of seeing him up close and personal here with the Morrisville Raptors in the past in minor league cricket, but he is such a good batter. He's so versatile. He can bat up and down the order from the left side, and he just racked up the runs against the Royals for Janakpar Bolts. 87 runs off of 49 balls. This came on December 21, and he sealed the championship victory for Janakpar Bolts in that. And of course, we had Mohammed Mohsen on that team, and it was coached by Pubaru Dasaranyake. What a great squad! What a fun team to watch. And Lahiru, man, I just can't be happier than when I see Lahiru doing this well.
Yeah, and that was number 15. So we're into the top 15, guys. We're so excited about the top. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I can be wrong sometimes. Isn't one of the Trump brothers on that team as well, the Bolts?
I think Josh Trump.
I think Josh Trump
was in the NPL.
Yeah, I think he was on the Bolts too. I think that was a very American team.
There you go. Speaking of Americans, and you guys like your runs, well, how about I up you with runs and wickets at number 14? Sanjay Krishnamurthi, again, not the first time. And guys, it's not going to be the last time he gets mentioned on this list. This time in the USPL for the New Jersey Titans, 104 off of 49, unbeaten, a strike rate of 212. And then he said, that's not good enough for me. Let me take 4 wickets, add on just for 29 runs, an economy of 7.25 and 4 overs. Nothing special. I mean, this is just another day in the office for Sanjay Krishnamurthi at this point.
Sanjay, are you kidding me? I mean, for real? We all love this guy so much, right? And we're so excited about his future. And I was watching this game on YouTube, and I'm like, what is he doing? This is like Gary Sober's Imran Khan type all-around stuff, right? Who has an undefeated century and then a 4-wicket haul in a freaking T20 game?
Ridiculous. Yeah, maybe the best all-around performance of the year. Just incredible.
Yeah, I think it was. The best all-around performance by a U.S. male this year was Sanjay in that match, hands down. One notch higher at number 13th was another great all-around performance. When we come up with this list, we also weight the magnitude of the moment, right? How hard the opposition was, how significant the match was. And Sanjay's was phenomenal, but that was a USPL early in the tournament match, right? Number 13, we have Hassan Khan, right? With the Unicorns, San Francisco Unicorns on July 26th, which was a playoff match against the Washington Freedom. And boy, did he do it on both sides as well, right? Batting, he was 57 off 36, right? Which was a great knock, right? He had 6 sixes to go with that. And then on the other end, only in 4 overs, he didn't get his full 5, but he had 2 wickets. He was 2 for 32 against the Freedom, right? Who are, one of the most formidable batting lineups that are in the MLC. And I think this was by far the best all-around domestic performance in the MLC by a domestic player. I mean, Hassan Khan, again, no limits to what this kid can do.
He's just incredible. That Unicorns team and those 2 teams, first of all, just amazing. And honestly, you could argue, and I don't even think it's an argument. I think Hassan Khan, not only was he the best domestic player in Major League this year, he was probably the best all-around player in the entire league from anywhere.
And I think there was, if you look at ESPN Quick Info, they actually have him down as using some scoring system that they have, the best overall player in MLC.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a contest right now for this season. It almost minimizes his output to just call him the best domestic of the tournament. I think he was the best all-around player, and ESPN Quick Info seems to agree. And that takes us to another phenomenal all-rounder at number 12, somebody whose name we haven't even mentioned once yet, of course.
Yeah,
Sanjay Krishnamurthi here.
Sanjay.
Who's that? Who is that guy?
Yeah. Who is this guy? And he's surprising everyone coming out of nowhere. But yeah, for the San Francisco Unicorns against Washington Freedom, 79 not out off of 42 balls, 6 sixes, 5 fours, and honestly, that one everyone will remember him hitting the six off of Saurabh on a wider line, and he throws his hands out there and just catches the ball and just over the third man fielder's head by about 5 rows. And no one will forget that shot.
And this was a rain shortened match. It
Yeah.
was like
Yep.
14 over, right? They were chasing some stupid total, and of course DLS comes into play, and he still does this.
Yeah,
It
ridiculous.
was phenomenal. And with that shot, I just remember Pommy saying, "Fielder, fielder, no, you can't do that. You can't do that." And it was just like, yeah, that's just Sanjay Krishnamurthi's summer, wasn't it? You just can't do that. Let's move to number 11, to another name, again, that we haven't said a lot. Andries Gous. No, he's back. And this time it's in national colors. It's in the T20 World Cup. And what could have been the most underrated innings, or maybe the most forgotten innings of the World Cup, because his 65 off 46 alongside the heroics of Aaron Jones really played a big role into that open day win to chase down 194. I mean, again, it was smart. It was calm. He was batting at one down, a different position for him, and he just held the end and then was able to take advantage of loose deliveries.
You know what? We should be tired of talking about Andres by now, but I'm not. I'm not tired of it. Like, he's just it's so good to see a performer at this level, at the international level, that you can rely on so consistently as you can with Andres. And him, it doesn't seem to matter to him if he opens or if he bats number 3. I don't think anything gets to this guy.
He was so good, and whether he's behind the stumps or not, right? Like, he's just all the time, every roll. Friends, if you like what we're doing here, make sure to hit that like button, because it's going to help us bring you more content just like this. Okay, that takes us to the top 10. We're down to the top 10 domestic performances of 2024. All right. And at number 10, we have the partner of Andries Gous at that knock that we were talking about, Aaron Jones, who on October 7th, not long ago, in the CPL, right? Out of nowhere, right? This was the first time I think he was playing in the CPL, and he, for the St. Lucia Kings, shows up in the final and has an undefeated 48 off 31, the highest score for St. Lucia, and he basically won that match, right? 6 boundaries, including, 4 sixes. It was a beautiful knock, and St. Lucia won the championship. We just had to have this in the top 10.
Yeah, it was cool because it was like, no matter, it seems like the bigger the moment, Aaron Jones is there to take it on. He feeds off the crowd, and you hadn't heard his name, for a while, and all of a sudden, boom, of course he's going to be the man of the match, or of course he's going to be the best star in the final of the CPL if he gets into the game. And it's great he did this for St. Lucia, Darren Sammy's team, because they're kind of buddies. They know each other going back to the John Boy Ball and Play League. I'm gonna get it in again. And it's just, we love seeing Aaron do what he does.
And all summer he was the hero at home. He was scoring all these runs, and he got to play the villain role. That game was in Guyana. Everyone is saying, "Oh, it's back-to-back titles for Guyana. They're gonna get it done." St. Lucia, they don't win the CPL. They've been runners up a bunch of times, but they finally got it done. And everyone said, "Oh, Roston Chase is gonna have to be the one to score." Aaron Jones deserved a 50 in that one. They bowled 2 wides to close the game out. The most anticlimactic way to get it done. But Aaron did what he did all summer and scored an unbelievable knock to get a side over the line.
Yeah, he's incredible. And we just mentioned Andres' name, and he's in here at number 9 in the ILT 20, January 21st. Now, the context of this is really important. He scored 95 not out off of 50 balls. This is huge. That's a huge scoring rate for this particular league. 7 sixes, 5 fours for Abu Dhabi Knight Riders versus the Desert Vipers. This was really big for Andres because there's a lot of competition getting into that World Cup squad at this point in time. Now, we're all raving about how Andres is probably the best domestic bat in the league, but that doesn't guarantee he's going to get into that USA squad with all the good top order batters that we have. I think this knock really forced his case to the selectors to get into that World Cup team, and we've really we've really benefited from this particular knock.
My favorite thing about this knock might have been the first ball he played, where he got absolutely beat inside between bat and pad, and he just kind of goes with the hands and then hits everybody for 6 after that. That was probably the best thing about it. He got absolutely done in by an in-swinger, and then said, "All right, that's fine. Just bang, 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 bang. Here's my 90 runs with ease." Moving into number 8, it's another guy who's been riddled all over this list. Back to the World Cup against South Africa. It's Harmeet Singh yet again. 2 wickets. that he picks up just for 24 runs, and then he does it with the bat as well. I mean, he just finds ways to add some key runs, take key wickets, big wickets, and that was in the biggest stage we'd been in at that point. That was in the Super Eights. We needed to find a way to get a win. South Africa was the team that ended up getting to the finals and was one moment of glory on the boundary away from getting to winning the World Cup. And we pushed them to the limit because of Harmeet Singh.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about this match in a bit, but I mean, he was 38 off 22. He had such a beautiful knock after taking 2 critical wickets. I mean, once again, Harmeet, our most dependable international all-arounder, in 2024, and he's just so talented.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge role, and he's filling it remarkably well.
Yeah, and I was down in Barbados, right, during that time, and I interviewed him after one of the matches, and he was just so calm and so composed. It was the biggest moment of his career, of a lot of people's career, but he, this guy, pressure doesn't get to him. That's one thing that's so beautiful about Harmeet.
Yeah, he's just absolutely amazing.
At number 7, we're going to start the first of a few times we're going to be talking about that match, right? USA versus Pakistan, probably the most significant victory that the U.S. has ever had in cricket. And this will start with, at number 7, the captain of that match, Monank Patel, right? Monank, he did a great job captaining, and he had a beautiful knock, right? He had the high score for the U.S. that day. It was 50 off 38. He had a 6, he had 7 fours, and credit where credit is due. Mona captained us to that victory and was the high score. He was great.
Yeah, he was fantastic, man. What a day this was. This will be the most memorable game for a long time for USA. I mean, if anything ever tops it, it'll be. I mean, how great will that be? But what a day. Everyone contributed a little bit in that Pakistan game. And that takes us to number 6. Speaking of everybody contributed, we got another one from that very same game. Nosh, Kenjige, at number 6, 3 wickets for 30 runs in his 4 overs. Huge to contain Pakistan and to allow us to have something reasonable, a really good chance to win the game here obviously on home field advantage. But Nosh, man, one of those players who also always manages to stand up in the big moments, and boy did he ever do it against Pakistan.
And I think
he bowled early.
He bowled early, and I think he took the wickets of everyone with the last name Khan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did have a vendetta against all the Khans, and Usman Khan was the first one to fall. But he was brilliant. I'm gonna rewind us a little bit, just a couple of days earlier, to the Canada game, because this is the knock that everyone is going to be talking about. How is this not number 1?
We're in the top 5. We're in the top 5, guys. Top 5 of 2024.
Top 5. We're going back. I know it's not number 1, and folks are going to say, how is this not 1? But Aaron Jones against Canada to get the World Cup started off right. How different would the World Cup look if Aaron Jones on opening day doesn't go 94 unbeaten off 40 deliveries, a strike rate of 235 with 10 sixes and 4 fours, with his fist pumping up everywhere, had the highest score of the tournament up until the Super 8s. This whole tournament could have been very different if Aaron Jones doesn't put his hand up. Remember, in a time where everyone was thinking, does he deserve to be on this T20 side? Is he going to be able to put performances in the T20 format? And on opening day, he says to everybody, yeah, don't worry, I'll be able to do it.
Yeah, it's unreal. It was unbelievable. I was jumping up and down in my house watching that because we had such a rough first innings, and it was such a big total to chase. But Aaron Jones with his patented now slog sweep, I think he's known for that shot right now. But what a great job he did. You know what it reminded me of, Aaman? It reminded me of that 2022 or 2021?
Yep.
Minor league 2022 minor league final here in Morrisville, or that final weekend where he got his team Atlanta Fire into the finals with a very similar style of a knock. But man, he loves crowd noise. He loves the energy that the crowd will give him, and he was returning it in spades that day against Canada.
And it was because it was undefeated. It was actually the best knock of the World Cup by any batter in terms of score. Right, I think Puran might have had a 98, but he was out. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones's strike rate was higher, and he was undefeated. So this was literally the best knock of the tournament.
Yeah, agree.
That was Aaron Jones at number 5, and at number 4 we have Aaron Jones, once again, right? And this is once again for the third time we're talking about USA versus Pakistan, and we're not done talking about USA versus Pakistan. But Aaron was so magnificent in that game, in two different ways, right? One is actually in the USA's proper innings, he took it all the way to the end, and he was 36 undefeated off 26, right? Monank had the half century, but Aaron Jones was undefeated, and he had 4 boundaries. And then, right, the moment that we'll always keep in our hearts, that super over, my gosh, right? Nerves of steel, right? He was aided a little bit by the 12th man of the U.S., right? Amir, who bowled Muhammad Amir, who bowled how many wides? 7 wides in and over.
True.
7 wides.
Little help from that, but it doesn't matter. Aaron Jones had a boundary, and he stood in there, and he scored all of our 11 runs with the bat, and this was like as clutch as a clutch performance goes. I mean, Aaron, like, what more can we say about you? Thank you, and that was freaking phenomenal.
And a special shout out to Nitish Kumar there for helping us get to that super over. But Muhammad Amir was so frustrated. He spiked the ball into the square 3 times in that super over.
Well, Nate, I would be frustrated too if I bowl a Yorker, the batter hits it on the crease, and somehow they get back for 2. How does that work? Someone explain that to me, how you were able to do that. Harmeet's saying great running on that as well. Yep. I mean, they just absolutely took Pakistan and took them out of the game.
Friends, if you like what you're hearing, make sure to subscribe to our channel to get more content like this. And if you strongly agree or disagree with anything we're saying, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. We're now into the top 3 male performances of the U.S. for 2024. Nate, take it away.
At number 3, we have Andries Gous versus South Africa, scoring 80 runs not out off of 47 balls against. So this had to be a massive knock for him.
It's in the Super 8s.
It's in the Super 8s. Yeah, huge. And also, it had to be personal to him. If you look at, we know he's a good 3 format player, because if you look at his domestic stats from South Africa, his first class, his T20, his all of his stats, his 1 day, is 4 day. He performs at every level, or he did in South Africa. Now, obviously, he's coming up through South Africa at a time where you have a once in a generation wicketkeeper batsman ahead of you. So he comes to the USA. We get the fortune of this, and he really shines against his home nation. Man, it was a special. It just felt really special seeing him do this.
And he was so, again, poised and fearless that whole game. And he opened, and he was there till the end. He took us so close. And I did an interview with him this summer, and there's more content to come out. And there's a couple of segments about this match, right? And the 2 things that were so awesome that he said, one was, I was like, how did you do this? Right? Like, you just freaking were untouchable. And he was like, I know these guys so well, right? He's like, I've been playing against them for so long. He was like, that's the one bowling attack that I knew I could take down, because I played with these guys forever. So he had so much confidence going to that match. And then the other thing, like you're saying, Nate, is he told me that right before the match, before the national anthems, right? Like, Quinton de Kock, right, who he knows really well, because Quinton's a year older, and he's also a wicketkeeper batsman. Quinton said, this must be a little strange for you, huh? Right? Because he was playing against South Africa, and he didn't know what to do with the national anthem. It was really emotional for him. There was so much emotion. And yet, because he's a kid who grew up dreaming of playing for South Africa, right? And he's playing for the US. And this was true of a lot of our team, right? I'm sure Harmeet and Saurabh, right, had they all had the same moment against India, right? They were like, wait, I was supposed to play for them, right? But they come to the US, and they make us stronger, and we will welcome them any day of the week, and they're now Americans, they're now ours, and they're proud to represent us. So Andries, congrats on that knock. That was so awesome.
Yeah, he's special cricketer regardless. Number 2, the second best male moments in the USA in terms of cricket. It's Saurabh Netravalkar. He owns number 2 on this list, and it's his performance against Pakistan. 2 wickets for 18 runs in 4 overs. He took Mohammad Rizwan thanks to Stephen Taylor at first slip. He gets Iftikhar Ahmed twice, once in the super over as well. And he defended 19. I know 19 is a big total in a super over, but to have the nerve to do it against Pakistan, to beat a full member on that stage in that situation, that full member had gone to the finals of the last T20 World Cup. They were one match away from claiming T20 World Cup victory, and then they fall to the USA. Held his nerve, and I mean, he looked like he was a Pakistani swing bowler. The way he was just moving it all around the edges of the bats of the men in green.
It just highlights. I mean, you mentioned Stephen Taylor's great catch there. Saurabh was a standout superstar in that game. There's no doubt. He made a name for himself in that game internationally. But one of my favorite things about this game was literally 12 players for USA contributed to this win. You saw the beautiful catch by Stephen Taylor. Even the 12th man took a great catch. I believe it was Milland. So it was just such a beautiful game. And yes, he took 2 wickets for 18 runs, which is ridiculous against a team like Pakistan. But man, that Stephen Taylor catch gave him 2 wickets and helped give us the win. What a tremendous game! I'll never forget this game.
I don't think any of us will ever forget this game. It was just so incredible. It was so incredible to watch. It was so incredible, to cheer on. That was number 2, right? Number 2, Saurabh Netravalkar against Pakistan. That takes us to the number 1 male performance of 2024. Also, Saurabh Netravalkar on June 12th in the World Cup against India in New York. I was at this match. I got to interview him afterwards. My gosh, on the world's biggest stage, right? Against the world's best T20 team that won the tournament. He dismissed the 2 most famous cricketers in the world, right? Virat Kohli for a golden duck and Rohit Sharma for 3, right? This was Saurabh just taking them down. This was unreal, unbelievable. Like, I don't know what more can be said about this. That was a performance that every cricketing kid around the world dreams of. Like, you can only dream of taking out Rohit and Virat in the same freaking match in a World Cup. Does it get any bigger? This might be the number 1 of all history.
It's incredible, and he did it. Virat Kohli's golden duck was his first in T20 cricket in his entire career.
First in international cricket, I believe, any format. His first golden duck, I think.
Just unbelievable, and we love baseball. I love baseball too, and a lot of people talk about when people see Saurabh bowl. If you talk to people who are watching him for the first time, oh, he's not that fast. Well, yeah, man, the guy has incredible skill. And I think I like to compare him to like a Greg Maddux type of a guy who can hit any spot he wants to. He can move it both directions, and he's smart. He can sucker you into getting out, and then execute it. He comes up with it's one thing to come up with a plan, and it's one thing to execute, and he can do both of those things. And he just really showed off.
And I tell you what, he gave all of us hope and life in the fan base for a good portion of those 3 hours. Nate, you, me, Daniel Beswick. I don't think Lenny was there at that point. Emily Reynolds was there. I mean, we were all in the same hotel room watching this happen and just jumping all around. Couldn't quite believe it. We were one Sara moment of brilliance away and maybe 5-run penalty away from knocking over India. But I mean, to give us life in that game there just was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You just reminded me of that 5-run clock stop penalty. I think I'm going to have a brain aneurysm. But in talking to Saurabh after that match, there was he did a quick interview afterwards. It wasn't recorded. It was off camera. And so, I asked him, I was like, what was it like? You got Virat and you got Rohit. And he was just like, I wasn't thinking about how big it was. I was just trying to get the guy. He was like, Rohit, and this is not well known, right? The Rohit's from Mumbai as well. And Saurabh, he was like, I used to bowl him in the nets, right? Yeah. Like, I know him, right? Like, Virat, I don't know him, right? Like, the Virat thing was, I think, even more magical because you never faced him, and he was like, and he said Virat after the match when they were greeting each other, he was like, he made some like joking Virat type comment about like, yeah, good job getting me. So the moment was so huge, and Saurabh was so, he was so poised, even in that moment, even after having done all that. Like, he's just so amazing, and it's so great to have him here. And we have to thank Cornell University for giving him a scholarship to come over to then become American and be part of this team, because without them, I mean, Oracle for employing him, but Cornell is what brought him into this country, right? It wasn't one of our minor league teams, major league team, no recruiter, no whatever. It was Cornell University in Ithaca, New York is the reason that we came so close.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and just as composed as he is, he's very composed. He, as you said, he's calm, he's collected. He really has his mental game together. But when he takes a wicket, the celebrations you get from Saurabh, my gosh, this one, yeah, we've seen that.
Chakra, I call it the chakra. He's over here just doing everything, isn't he?
It's so good. I love watching him celebrate. He just brings the complete package.
Yeah, it's pure joy, right? You see, the thing with Saurabh is like, he's just from day one till day whenever, he's playing for the joy of cricket, and you can see it in his eyes, you can see it in his demeanor, and that's why he's number one and number two for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
and several other spots as well. I mean, that was such a great year. Guys, any final reflections on the year of performances by domestic American men?
We saw some incredible catches in Major League Cricket from some of our domestics who, if you want to make a Major League team, you got to be able to field incredibly well. We saw Davis with the lights out catch that didn't surprise any of us for LA Knight Riders. We saw Corey Anderson making a great grab. We talked a lot about batters and bowlers and all rounders, but my gosh, the fielding plays a big part in the game as well. And just wanted to highlight a couple of those moments. But man, what a great year for cricket in the USA! And looking back at it like this, there's so much going on. It's hard to stay on top of it, but it's really worth it.
Yeah, it is. And I think year one, last year, the year one of Major League, for me, was just about us finding our footing. And you're now starting to see us start to say, no, we're here and we can play with the big dogs. We carve out roles and niches for ourselves, and we're able just to perform. And I'm excited for the young talent in this country, because whilst everyone's going to talk about the expats that we've brought over, the guys like Andries, Hassan, Harmeet, Singh, the impacts that they have in terms of our youngsters are playing with these guys, learning from these guys every single weekend in the summer, you can already see it affecting a guy like Sanjay Krishnamurthi, a guy like Saiteji Mukamala, Utkarsh Srivastava, Ayan Desai, Josh Trump. These guys are only going to continue to get better. And so while we're all talking about the expats now, and we love to have them, and they're American and they're ours, the born and bred Americans here are only going to get better because of it. So in 2025, I'm just looking for more of the same.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one thing to rub shoulders with the best players in the world, but what our guys are doing is they're bowling them, they're taking their wickets, and they're hitting sixes off of them left and right. Right? You bring the best in the world, whether it's Rashid Khan or Stoinis or whatever, and like they're holding their own, not and exceeding, like just doing amazing things against them, which is makes me so excited. I know you guys so excited about the future of cricket in this country, right?
And this is just proof how great minor league is as a foundation of American men's cricket. When you can do that, when you can put these great players, these Unmuk Chans, these Saurabhs, these Andries, in with the younger guys, and we see them get better and better and better, and the product in the USA gets better and better and better. It just validates the entire system, the project.
Yeah, feels like we have a really good thing going, and we had such an incredible year, right? Because of the World Cup, because of minor league and major league, and we're seeing Americans make their mark abroad. That's another thing on this list that's so amazing, right? Whether it's in the CPL or the NPL, right, or the Global Super League, right? We've got massive American performances all over the world, which that is so exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you everyone for watching us have a lot of fun. Thanks Aaman and Nate for joining and sharing all your sort of wisdom and experience and memories from the year. This was so much fun, and I can't wait to do this again next year.
Oh man, I can't wait. Z, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully 2025 is bigger and better.